what is up guys, my name is AFC Adino and welcome to another team building video. This time we're building a team around Choice Bandit Garchomp. So Garchomp will be the star of this show, and let's take a look at the set that we are going to use. So obviously the Choice Band item, we go with the Sandfall ability. If you have a hidden ability you can use that one as well, but I use Sandfall because there are a lot of Tyranitar and Hippowdons running around in this meta, and you can basically abuse the opponent's Hippowdon or Tyranitar's Sandstorm by getting some RNG. Yeah, the moves we are going to use is Outrage, Earthquake, Dragon Claw and Fire Fang, and we run it with a Jolly Nature with max speed and max attack, and put the 4 remaining points into special defense so that we can tank certain hidden power fires or switch into those attacks. But yeah, the idea with this set guys is to basically win by pressing a button, either Outrage or Earthquake. You usually do this in the late game when you have beaten certain checks and counters to Garchomp, or when you got them low enough. But in the early game you usually also use this set to break through certain walls, because with the Choice Band not a lot of things can switch into Garchomp. Let's actually take a look at some calcs guys. So we're gonna calculate some damage on certain Pokemon with Garchomp. We have the set here, and a Pokemon that likes to switch into Garchomp is a Gliscor. This is a normal Jolly Gliscor set, and look at this. Outrage, guaranteed 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks, and also without Stealth Rocks damage. So even when a Gliscor gets the Poison Heal, it's still a 2-hit KO. Let's take a look at max defense with a Jolly Nature. Outrage, still a guaranteed 2-hit KO after Poison Heal. And now let's make the Garchomp an Impish Nature. Outrage is still a 48.4% chance to 2-hit KO Gliscor after Poison Heal with max defense and an Impish Nature. So that's almost still a 50% chance to 2-hit KO Gliscor on switch. But let's add Stealth Rocks in. If we get up by Stealth Rocks and Garchomp and Gliscor switches in, then Gliscor gets 2-hit KO'd even though it's a max defense, max HP Gliscor. After Poison Heal, it still gets 2-hit KO'd by Outrage. So that is really crazy, guys. Another Pokemon that likes to switch in is Hippowdon. And look at this. This is a regular mixed defense Hippowdon set. But Outrage, without Stealth Rocks, 78.5% chance to 2-hit KO after Leftovers recovery. But if we get up our Stealth Rocks, boom, guaranteed 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. Let's actually take a look at also, by the way, Earthquake after Stealth Rocks, guaranteed 2-hit KO, 3-hit KO, which could also be really nice if you get some free damage off. But actually, let's take a look at max defense. Max defense Impish Hippowdon with Rocky Helmet, guys. So without Leftovers. Outrage, 89% chance to 2-hit KO Hippowdon on switch with Stealth Rocks up. So that is also really crazy. Another Pokemon that likes to switch in is Slowbro. Slowbro, Outrage, 79.3% chance to 2-hit KO after Leftovers recovery, but with Stealth Rocks up, boom, guaranteed 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. Also Earthquake, almost a 30% chance to 2-hit KO Slowbro after Stealth Rocks, but if Slowbro has Rocky Helmet, which means no Leftovers, Earthquake, boom, 88.3% chance to 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. Another Pokemon that likes to switch in, Quagsire perhaps. Outrage, guaranteed 2-hit KO after Leftovers recovery. Earthquake, 74.2% chance to 2-hit KO after leftovers recovery. With Stealth Rocks up, boom, guaranteed 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. So this is basically also the same idea as Choice Band and Dragonite, but Garchomp is faster than Dragonite. And he still has a very high attack stat, so he still does about the same damage with Outrage as Dragonite. But yeah, Garchomp is faster. The only difference is that Garchomp doesn't have a priority move and Dragonite does, so Dragonite can press extreme speed to outspeed certain things. But Dragonite doesn't beat Clefable on Switch. Clefable can always switch into Dragonite as long as it's healthy. You can run Iron Head on Dragonite, but I don't think it's the best move to run on him. But Clefable cannot switch into Garchomp. Let's take a look here. Clefable. Earthquake. Boom. 2-hit KO after leftovers recovery. If it's an unaware set, it might also take Stealth Rocks damage, so it's even easier to kill. One Pokemon that might be troublesome is... Actually, let's take a look at defensive Tangrowth first. Outrage. After Stealth Outrage normally, Tangrowth should easily be able to take a Choice Band at Outrage, but with Stealth Rocks up, it suddenly becomes an 89 or 98% chance to 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks damage. But that is really crazy. But one Pokemon that you might have trouble breaking through is Skarmory, because even though we have Fire Fang, it does about 40%. So if we do get Skarmory to around 70 to 80% health, then Skarmory cannot switch into Fire Fang anymore. But yeah, it's also difficult to kill Skarmory because Skarmory obviously is run on a defensive team most of the times. So they can see the Fire Fang coming, or they can switch around knowing you are Choice Band. That might be troublesome. So instead you might be able to run Fire Blast if you really want to be able to deal with Skarmory. Fire Blast with a naive nature, which is a guaranteed to hit KO. But then if you look at Heracross, if you look at Heracross, Fire Blast doesn't KO Heracross. So Heracross might be able to get off a big facade hit off or a big close combat hit off. I mean, you could kill it with Outrage, but Heracross is often used with Skarmory as well, because Skarmory can take the flying type attacks that Heracross cannot take. So attacks from things like Staraptor, which is why they are often used together. So if you use Fire Fang, you are able to KO Heracross after Stealth Rocks damage. And meanwhile, Skarmory has trouble switching in, because it does still about 40% to Skarmory. So 2 hits is about 80% to Skarmory. So if you got some damage off on Skarmory, Skarmory also dies. That's why we're in Fire Fang, and Fire Fang overall hits more things than Fire Blast on Garchomp, because the Choice Band also does boost the Fire Fang damage. So that's why we run Fire Fang over Fire Blast. Yeah, that's basically everything about Garchomp on its own. The idea was basically just to get off big hits with Garchomp and win the game through that. But yeah, the partner we are going to use as a core for Garchomp is with Forretress, because Garchomp is 4 times weak against ice type attacks. So something like Mamoswine is very threatening to Garchomp. So having a switch for Mamoswine is really nice. And that's why we use Forretress, because Forretress can switch into Mamoswine. If Mamoswine goes for Earthquake, we can get up Stealth Rocks. If Mamoswine goes for Stealth Rocks, we can Rapid Spin them away. But yeah, the item we are going to use is Shed Shell, and it's sturdy. And one other thing, Forretress is 4 times weak against fire type attacks, but Garchomp resists fire type attacks, because some Pokemon do run fire type coverage moves like Magnezone with Hidden Power Fire, Electivire perhaps with Fire Punch or Flamethrower. So Having Garchomp there to potentially switch into those attacks is also really nice. But yeah, we go with Shed Shell so that we do not get trapped by Magnezone. And just like we talked about it, with Shed Shell we can switch out, and after Magnezone users think they will trap Forretress, and most Magnezones are either Choice Scarfed or Choice Specs. So if they go for Forretress and you switch out into Garchomp, they will be locked into Hidden Power Fire most of the times. So that means they have to switch, because after you bring in Garchomp and they go for Hidden Power Fire, they are locked in, and that is an opportunity for Garchomp to get off a big hit. So you can either go for Outrage if your opponent doesn't have a Fairy type on the team, or you can go for Earthquake if your opponent doesn't have a Levitate user or Flying type on the team and get off a very big hit. So that's why this combination is also really nice, and I surprised a lot of opponents using this combination as well. The ability we are going to use is Sturdy. Ideally, if you can, you should run Overcoat, but it's almost impossible to get a hidden ability Forretress with the correct nature. Because the reason you ideally want Overcoat is because powder moves don't work on you. So Pokemon like Breloom or Smeargle cannot use Spore, or Pokemon like Tangrowth cannot use Sleep Powder, because Overcoat prevents them from putting you asleep with those moves. But yeah, we are going for Sturdy using this guide, and the first move obviously Stealth Rocks, because as we have seen in the previous Cogs, Stealth Rocks can make a big difference in getting certain kills. So that's a very important move for Garchomp. The next move is Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin just to remove entry hazards, because we do not want to let our Garchomp take a lot of entry hazard damage like Stealth Rocks, like Spikes. We also do not want to let it switch into Toxic Spikes, and Sticky Webs can also be really annoying, because after Sticky Webs a lot of things can outspeed Garchomp. So having Rapid Spin there to remove the entry hazards is really nice. And by using Forretress as a entry hazard setter and Rapid Spin setter, you can use more offensive options on your other Pokemon of your team, because they do not have to carry these kind of moves. Our next move is Pain Split, so that our Forretress can continuously check, counter Mamoswine and other physical attackers. And with Pain Split you can also switch Forretress into Chansey. Go for Rapid Spin. If you are a bit low, you can go for Pain Split and basically get to full HP, because you pretty much steal the HP from Chansey, and that will even if you are at if Chansey is around 50% health, you might still heal to full through Pain Split, which is really crazy. Because look at this, shares HP of user and target equally, so you basically get the same amount of HP. So that is really nice to continuously use Forretress like that. And our last move is Explosion. We go with Explosion over Gyro Ball, because if we use Gyro Ball, then your opponent is able to abuse Forretress in a lot of situations, being able to set up on Forretress. And Explosion just gives us a free switch, and look at this, 250 damage power, 250 power, guys. And Forretress's attack is not that bad, so it really does a lot of damage. And again, it does give you a free switch into a threat. So if you see an opportunity after you get up your Stealth Rocks, after you remove the entry hazards, you can perhaps press Explosion and bring in your Garchomp and Garchomp safely, and then you can get off a big hit. So that is really nice. But yeah, the EVs we are going to use here is Max HP. We go with Max Defense, and we put the remaining points into attack. And you can either go for an Impish Nature. With this set you should run Impish, but you can also go for a Relaxed Nature. Doesn't really matter, because I have a Relaxed Nature myself, because I used Gyro Ball before. But yeah, it doesn't really matter as long as your nature is a defensive nature, because then you get the maximum amount of bulk against things like Mamoswine. Yeah, our next Pokemon will be Zapdos, because I think every team needs a Scissor answer. So we are using Zapdos for this team. I mean, Forretress can switch into Scissor, but Scissor can also set up on Forretress if it has Swords Dance and set up multiple Swords Dances. So having Zapdos there to counter Scissor is really nice. Yeah, because Forretress already has Rapid Spin, we don't need to run defog on Zapdos. So the set we are going to use is Leftovers item. I have a static Zapdos myself for the set, but yeah, most people will probably run Pressure because static is really difficult to get. So for the guide, we'll also use Pressure, and we go with Roost and 3 attack. So Discharge, also having the chance to paralyze things that like to switch in, like Tyranitar. Our next move is Heat Wave. Heat Wave to kill Scissor, just kill any kind of Scissor, and also hitting things like Heracross, Magnezone. Just having that fire type attack is really nice. And our last move is Hidden Power Ice. Hidden Power Ice. This gives us a lot of coverage, guys, because we will hit Garchomp with this. We will hit Gliscor with this. And the EVs we are going to use is we go with 248 points into HP. The reason we are going with this instead of 255 is because with 248 you get a odd number on max HP, and because when you have an odd number on max HP, you will lose less damage to things like Sandstorm. You will lose less damage to things like Stealth Rocks, because the damage will be rounded down. So instead of doing 25%, instead of Stealth Rocks doing 25%, it will do 24%. I know it's just a little bit, but it might matter in some situations. So having that is really nice. And we are running 144 speed with a timid nature. This allows us to outspeed Pokemon with the speed tier from Nidoking. So Pokemon with 295 speed. So Pokemon like Nidoking, Toxicroak, Heracross, perhaps a max speed Suicune. So because a timid Suicune is rising in usage also, but timid Suicune cannot PP stall Zapdos because Zapdos is faster. And yeah, being faster than Heracross is also really nice because you can outspeed Heracross. Heracross cannot kill you from full without a Swords Dance, and then you can just damage it with Heat Wave. And yeah, we'll put the remaining points into defense, allowing us to switch in and counter Scissor much easier. Also, it's easier to live a waterfall from Gyarados with the extra defensive bulk, so that's nice. And also living hits from Dragonite could be nice, and hitting it with Hidden Power Ice in certain situations. But that's basically the Zapdos set. And now we are going to use Clefable as our next Pokemon, because we are using a Choice Band Garchomp, guys. So we are not using a Choice Scarf, which means Pokemon like Dragonite and Gyarados will be faster after a Dragon Dance. And Zapdos cannot continuously check those Pokemon, because after a Dragon Dance they can do it. Gyarados can do it KO Zapdos and might be able to flinch, meaning we cannot return kill it perhaps. And yeah, after a Dragon Dance from Dragonite, Zapdos just dies to Outrage. So having Clefable there, also blocking the Outrage and basically ignoring setup mounts, it's really nice, because Garchomp might also not break through a defensive Suicune with Calm Mind at rest, Sleep Talk, but Clefable ignores the Calm Minds, and Clefable also ignores the Curse Legs set, so Snorlax with Curse. So Snorlax can also not set up against this, which is also very nice. But yeah, the set we are going to use is Leftovers, and obviously Unaware with Wish and Protect. basically with Wish being able to heal Clefable itself and perhaps Wish Pass to other Pokemon like Forretress and Zapdos and Garchomp and protect there to get the free Wish off and to get extra leftovers recovery, which really nice. We go with Moonblast, it's our main stab move, and our last move will be Calm Mind, so that we can counter sweep the Pokemon that like to set up themselves. So we can bring this in against opposing Clefables that are Magic Guard, as after they use Calm Minds or Cosmic Powers, you can set up yourself and basically ignore their stat changes. You can set up on Dragonite with Calm Mind. Dragonite cannot kill you without Iron Head, and it's really uncommon having Iron Head on Dragonite. I have it myself, but it's really uncommon, guys. You can set up Calm Minds against Snorlax and again against Suicune, ignoring the Calm Minds from Suicune and hitting it with strong Moonblasts. So that's basically why we use Clefable, and we just use a standard max HP, max defense with a Bold Nature, and let's put the 4 remaining points into special attack so that our Moonblast does more damage. And our next Pokemon will be Muk, Assault Vest Muk, because the Pokemon that are faster than Garchomp are usually strong special attackers. So think about things like Starmie, like Gengar, like Alakazam, like Raikou, like Jolteon, who can run Hidden Power Ice. Muk can do really well against those Pokemon with the Assault Vest, because it can easily take their hits and it can basically knock them out or Pursuit Trap them. So the set we are going to use is Knockoff and Pursuit. Knockoff is also really nice against defensive Pokemon because you basically knock off their leftovers, which makes it easier to kill them. And you knock off Chansey's Eviolite perhaps, which also makes it much easier to kill Chansey. So having Knockoff is really nice on your team. Our next move is Poison Jab. We go with Poison Jab over Gunk Shot because Poison Jab never misses. Unless it's Sandfall or something. Usually it never misses. And yeah, it has a 30% chance to poison. And if you don't poison it through Poison Jab, you might poison it to Poison Touch. So poisoning something is... You are easily able to poison something with Muk if you press Poison Jab. Yeah, our last move will be Fire Punch. I mean, you could run Ice Punch because there are a lot of defensive Garchomps out there. And you can hit Gliscor, but you can never kill Gliscor with Muk because Gliscor is faster, and after Roost, the Ice Punch will not do a lot of damage. But yeah, with Fire Punch, you have an extra Pokemon that can hit Scizor and kill Scizor. And you also kill opposing Fortresses with Fire Punch. So having that is really nice, and that's why I use it. You can definitely run Ice Punch if you want. Yeah, this is my move of choice, and the set we are going to use is we run an Adamant Nature with max attack, max special defense, because Assault Vest multiplies your special defense by 1.5. So the more special defense you have, the higher the boost will be. So that's why we go with max special defense. Let's actually put 248 there so that we can put 8 points into HP, allowing us to switch into entry hazards much easier, and also having the odd number on max HP, which reduces damage from certain things, as we earlier explained. But yeah, we basically use Muk to switch in against Pokemon that Garchomp might die against and cannot outspeed. So the special attackers that we mentioned earlier. And our last Pokemon is Starmie, because we already have a physical nuke. Now we have a special nuke as well, and this can put a lot of pressure on your opponent, guys. So the set we are going to use is Choice Packs. We go with the Analytic and we go with Trick. And the reason we go for this combination is so that we can catch opposing Chanseys, because even though you have knockoff on Muk, most of the times Chansey is not gonna stay in against Muk. So being able to get, but Chansey will often switch into Starmie, so you can often trick your choice specs onto Chansey and make it useless. But yeah, the moves we are going to use is Surf. Surf, our main stab move. Surf over Hydro Pump because I don't like moves that can miss easily. So we go with Surf. Side Shock. Also being able to hit Chansey as well with a special attack that does damage on the physical side. So, and our last move is Ice Beam, just to hit Tangrowth, because if it's an assault fast Tangrowth, Garchomp easily destroys it, but if it's a defensive Tangrowth, then Starmie easily destroys it with Ice Beam. So having that option is also really nice, and I don't think we need Thunderbolt on the Starmie set because we already have Zapdos. And yeah, we don't need to hit Suicune with Thunderbolt from Starmie because we already have a Clefable that can counter sweep Suicune. And if it's a timid PP stall Suicune, then we can use Zapdos because Zapdos is faster. Yeah, that's basically the sets. We are using max speed, max special attack, and we put 4 points into special attack. The reason is that because Starmie has the same amount of defense and special defense. So by using 4 points in special defense, your special defense will be higher than your physical defense. So if your opponent has something like a Porygon Z with download, the Porygon Z won't get the download boost in special attack because your special attack is higher than your physical defense. Your special defense is higher than your physical defense, so Porygon will get the attack boost, which is useless for him. And then a Choice Scarf Porygon cannot knock you out from full. Those are just little things which are really nice. But yeah, this is basically the team. I played around 25 games with this team, and I actually won 20 out of the 25 games, so I only lost 5 games. Some of these games were really unlucky, and in some of those games I got cheesed. So cheese is always something that can happen. Yeah, if you see something once, you usually don't. It usually doesn't work again. But yeah, to summarize this team, our main Pokemon will be Garchomp, using Outrage and Earthquake to break through walls, and late game it will often sweep with this. You usually lead off with Forretress, get up the Stealth Rocks early just to get the pressure off. And yeah, Forretress cannot be trapped by Magnezone, and you can potentially bring in your Garchomp against Hidden Power Fire, and most of the times they are locked in, allowing you to get off a big hit. Use Pain Split to keep it healthy if Forretress needs to check something like a Mamoswine. And use Explosion if you have your Stealth Rocks up, if you have removed the entry hazards, and if you need to bring in a threat like Starmie or Garchomp to get off a big hit. And Scizor is there to check and counter the Scizor. Zapdos is there to counter the Scizor. And it also has a lot of coverage moves, so it's able to hit a lot of things. And Clefable there to counter sweep and prevent opposing Pokemon from sweeping, mainly for that. Muk to hit to kill the Fairy type Pokemon, like Unaware Clefable perhaps. Even though Garchomp can 2-hit KO it, Garchomp cannot switch into it. Muk can and hit it with Poison Jab. Muk can also deal with Togekiss, which Garchomp cannot deal with. You have Zapdos, but Muk can also relieve some pressure from Zapdos, because perhaps Zapdos needs all his health and effort to check the Scizor, so you have Muk for that as well. Being able to hit it with Poison Jab, Air Slash won't do too much. Also, Muk mainly there to kill fast special attacks like Starmie, Alakazam, and Gengar to pursue trap them. And Starmie obviously there for this special pressure with strong special attack and Surf, hitting a lot of things. Ice Beam for the coverage, and Side Shock to hit them on a physical side. But yeah, that's basically the team. I put a Pokepaste link down below if you guys are interested in using this team, and I hope you guys like liked this team building video. If you did, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this type of content. And I also do a lot of PvP battles if you guys are interested in that as well. And make sure to click on the notification bell to know when my videos are live. And leave a reaction down below, a comment down below with the Pokemon that you would like to get covered in one of a future team building video. But that's basically it. Join my Discord channel. I'll put my stream schedule there so you guys will know when I'm going to stream there. And that's basically everything I wanted to say. So peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. By the way, guys, to give you guys a visual on how to play this team, I will show you guys some battles in the next video using this team. Definitely stay tuned for that. Peace.